Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Season 2 preview. This is Chase Warrington. I'm the host of the show, and if it's your first time here with us, welcome to About Abroad. I am really excited to launch Season 2. We've been recording for the last couple weeks and just have an awesome lineup of people to share their stories with you, and I'm really looking forward to it. So first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the support during Season 1. We did a pilot season of 10 episodes just to kind of see what people would say, if it was helpful, what people wanted to hear more of. And I was so taken back by the support, the feedback that I got from you, the reviews, the people that wrote in. I want to start there. Thank you so much for the support. And because of that, I'm super excited to announce that we've decided to partner with Insured Nomads, a company called Insured Nomads, who's coming on board as the official sponsor of Season 2. So thank you so much to the people at Insured Nomads for supporting About Abroad, and I hope the About Abroad audience will reciprocate and support Insured Nomads. They are the absolute best in the business when it comes to providing health insurance for expats, digital nomads, travelers, people that are living and working abroad. And that's why I wanted to partner with them, and that's why we decided to go into this together, because they really are doing it in a way that's very humane. They're bringing what is sort of I would call a human approach to what is normally kind of a ruthless industry. I mean, we don't typically think about our health insurance, medical insurance as our friends. We kind of have to fight against them, it feels. And they're really putting a human first approach on this whole thing. So I love their mission, the story behind how the company came to be. And in fact, you will get to learn a little bit more about that because their CEO was nice enough to join us during Season 2. So that's a great episode. He's a true nomad. He's been traveling around the world for 25 years or so, and tells his story and how he came to be in the position that he's in, working in various places around the world, and now being the CEO of Insured Nomads. So they're a total breath of fresh air and a product that I could really get behind and attest to. I wish it had been around for me when I started traveling abroad extensively. So just very excited to share more about Insured Nomads as the season goes on, and to get their CEO in front of you during one of our episodes. And on that note, he will be alongside a pretty killer lineup of people. So during Season 2, I've got a whole list of CEOs and founders, fellow podcasters, authors, TEDx speakers, lots of entrepreneurs who have carved out niches for themselves in areas related to things like remote work, digital nomadism. Many of them are like founders of companies that are they're like living abroad and kind of living their story and traveling full time or living in a country, and then they've built a product or a company or a service that helps you do the same. So we're really getting a lot of these kind of pros in front of you that can show you how to do this, and also share their kind of cool, fun story and how they got to be there along the way. So a little bit of the practical info plus the inspo that we try to go for on About Abroad. We also, of course, just have plenty of just, quote unquote, regular guests, people who showed up and just said, hey, I want to live abroad and here's how I'm going to do it, and kind of teaching you how to do the same and providing some insights on what life is like in their little corner of the world. Geographically, we'll spend a lot of time in Europe, but we'll also travel to Latin America. We'll go to Asia, Africa, Australia. One place keeps eluding me is Antarctica. So if you're listening to this and you live in Antarctica or you have lived in Antarctica, get in touch with me. We need to get you on for Season 3. But aside from that, I think we touch all the corners of the globe and dive deep into what life is like in those little pockets of the world. We've got a big international crowd. I learned, obviously all the interviews are done in English, but there's a lot of people tuning in from where English is not your first language. And so I'm adding subtitles to the YouTube channel. So you can go to the About Abroad YouTube channel and follow along with subtitles from here on out. And we'll also be adding transcripts as the season goes along as well. So that should help our international users follow along on the content a little bit easier, which I'm really excited about, trying to be as inclusive as possible here. So very, very excited about that. As I was building out Season 2, there were a couple themes that emerged. And so I wanted to share that with you so you kind of know what to expect from Season 2. So some of this was organic, like unintentional. Some of it was very intentional, but overall, I kind of saw three major themes emerge. So one of them is a lot of you reached out to me saying, hey, I love that, people are digital nomading. I love that, people are finding remote work. And that's great that you're showing me how to do that. But what I'm really interested in is like, what about the kind of life side of it, what I would call the community. So building relationships, settling down with a family, moving your family abroad, traveling with kids, building your network. A lot of people are worried about leaving their social circle behind and what it's like to make friends abroad. So I really brought on a lot of people that, could touch on this from the family aspect, whether they're building families abroad or traveling full time with families or moving families around the world. I also talked with people who have built great networks of friends and built businesses. So just people that have built communities in places around the world and how they've gone about doing that. I really had a fun time diving into this and learning from some of the best that I know. Secondly, I was really kind of surprised. A lot of you were super interested in the real remote work aspect of the show. I actually kind of intentionally tried to stay away from always talking about remote work. I talk about that a lot in my day job. And I thought, there's lots of content out there about that. And so I wanted it to just be an element of the show. But I found out from listening to you all that you really like the remote work stuff. So I'm bringing on, it's part of the reason why we go to 18 episodes during this season is because I needed more space to talk about this. So we bring on some of the top remote work experts in the world, coaches and consultants and people who can help you get remote work jobs and help you do remote at the highest level. And along the way, they tell their stories. The common thread that ties them together is they're all expats or digital nomads, people living in other countries, so they can kind of share their life experience with their professional experience and make it, somewhat entertaining and somewhat practical and tangible for you as well. So you'll see a good bit of that during season 2. And finally, I sort of alluded to this already, and it ties into that second point a little bit. But we bring on a lot of pros, like people who are pros at helping you be an expat, helping you be a full-time traveler, getting to be able to stay in a place, doing, I mentioned doing, international taxes, international insurance, getting a visa for particular places. So we'll spend a lot of time with some pros who, again, have the story to tell about how they got to do what they're doing. Often it means they were traveling abroad or living in a different country when they got into this line of work, but how they got to be there and what services they can provide or what information you need to know to be able to follow in their footsteps or go move to a particular place or just make life work. Again, that sort of practical information plus inspirational information combined into one story. So those are the three themes that I saw emerge. I think it all together collectively ties into the whole mission of the show, which is just to share some insights onto what life is like abroad and, actually living there, but how to get there and do it yourself. And so combining these things into one, it turned out to be a really fun season with a lot of amazing information. I learned so much recording this one, so I hope you'll enjoy listening to it. And it goes without saying, but there will also be plenty of just casual chats between myself and other expats. We have the happy hour editions, which are just laid back conversations between me and a friend or two, maybe over a beverage. And so we'll have plenty of that, just normal people settling into their lives. It's not all CEOs and founders and coaches. It's just people like you and I that are just living our lives, and it happens to be in another place. And those stories are super fun as well. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm just gonna finish off here with a couple of pointers on how to support the show. A lot of people reached out and said, "How can I best support you? What's the best way to help you grow your audience?" Things like that. So in case that is something that interests you, a couple points that you could do. The easiest is just to go to aboutabroad.com and sign up for my newsletter. Actually, you can go to aboutabroad.com/newsletter now, directly to that URL, and you can sign up for the newsletter. That's the number one thing I would ask you to do. No spam, just a monthly update from me and some high quality content. So I will promise not to blow up your inbox. That's not what I'm about. But there is some great info. I share links to the previous episodes and some other useful information that I think you'll enjoy. You can also subscribe to the podcast on your platform of choice. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, wherever, just go to the subscribe button right now and click subscribe. I had so many people say, hey, I love listening to your show, but I keep missing them. I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. How do I make sure I don't miss an update? That is how you do it. So do it right now. If you're there at this moment and you want to leave a little review, if you're able to do that, Apple Podcasts allows you to do that. Some don't. Spotify doesn't allow you to leave reviews, but Apple Podcasts does, for instance. Reviews are super, super important. So, leave a review. Let us know what you think of the show. That's so much appreciated. It really helps us grow. And of course, you can follow us on social media on just about every platform out there at about.abroad. The best one to go to is Instagram, where we'd really love to grow that channel, but at about.abroad on Instagram and everywhere else. And finally, the most basic thing of all is share with a friend. You can send them to aboutabroad.com, or from the app that you're listening on, there's a little share button. You can send it via WhatsApp, text message, share to your social media profiles, whatever. The more you share, the more it helps us grow. It helps us find other wanderers. It helps other wanderers and people who want to travel abroad find us, and that's just always much appreciated and helps the little community grow that we're trying to build here. So thank you to all of you who reached out and asked how to help support. I know many of you are wondering, and it's not always super clear on how to do that. So it's much appreciated. I'm so excited about season 2. Thank you for following along. Thank you for the support. And I look forward to hearing from you. Welcome all feedback on, and would love to know what you'd love to hear for season 3. So please keep it coming. Chase@aboutabroad.com. You can contact us via the website. There's a contact form. Just reach out and let me know. Thank you all so much. Enjoy season 2, and hasta luego from España, amigos.